Hi. I'm still catching up with various releases for 2020, and earlier today I watched Vivarium. It's an unusual beast. It's an Irish, Danish, Belgian co-production with British and American leads. Um, Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots play a couple looking for a home. She's a school teacher, and he is, I think, a gardener. And they visit an estate agent who is creepy and weird, and he takes them to a new housing development, which is creepy and weird, and all the houses look the same. There's no one else there. And while they're looking around the house, he disappears. So they're left in this housing estate. They drive around until the petrol runs out, trying to find their way out. And the following day, climb up on the roof to find that it stretches to the horizon, that the sun appears to be some kind of fake, and that all the clouds look the same. And eventually they try and escape by burning the house down. The following day, the house is still standing, and a box has arrived containing a baby, which they are told to raise. If you hadn't already guessed, the film is a very, 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 very obvious allegory for how suburban living crushes the soul, and it's all just cookie cutter. And uh, raising children is terrible because it's the death of you, and they suck the life out of you. And they're these alien creatures that you don't understand, and they watch television, and it's something totally incomprehensible. Um, it's like a student film, but made by a 12-year-old. It is so inane and so obvious in its allegory and in its metaphor, to the extent that the opening titles play over natural history footage of a cuckoo pushing out the eggs in a nest and monopolizing the attention of the mother bird. So we're told straight from the start that this is what's going to happen, and that's what happens with the child. That the child is like a cuckoo being raised by these humans, and it's part of a larger life cycle. But the film's point appears to be solely, oh, suburbia's bad, and it's um, the death of the wild free spirit that people have when they're younger. Um, Eisenberg's character spends all day digging a hole in the garden because he thinks that that might be a way to escape, and that's clearly just an analogy for work. That it exhausts him and eventually it kills him, and the twist is, of course, that he's digging his own grave. But again, it's just so blindingly obvious and tedious, and um, there's no twist to it. There's no elaboration to it. It's just the same thing continuously. It gives no uh, complication or further development of the concept. It's just the same basic concept. And I've seen it argued that maybe it's a deliberate um, attempt to mimic the monotony of this lifestyle. But you don't make a good film by making it deliberately bad. You don't make a bad film on purpose and then expect people to say that it's good. This film is bad. It's extremely poorly written and childish. The direction is overly styled to make it completely unbelievable and implausible. You never get the feeling that they're in a real environment to make it believable, to make um, the situation the characters are in believable or credible or capable of for the audience to become empathetic with. Um, the characterization is extremely thin, so there's nothing that the actors can do. I don't think I've seen Poots in very much else. Eisenberg has been very good in other projects, but he is quite a limited actor. He will always be Mark Zuckerberg. He's never going to get away from that performance, I don't think, because he's pretty much the same in everything. Um, and he is not believable as a gardener. Um, so it's a weird misfire. There's nothing about this that is in any way clever or original or intriguing. And as I saw in one review, there is a logical endpoint for the story after about half an hour, but the film carries on for another hour beyond that. This would be fine as a Twilight Zone story, but as a feature film, it's an embarrassment. It's I have only seen a few films so far this year. This is easily the worst, and it's one of the worst films I've seen in some time. Um, so don't watch it because it's really awful.